into present. Amy, if there's any questions, will you just let me know, or you can stop me. So I want to talk a little bit tonight about connecting, building trust, building relationships, turning your following into a family. And like I said, when I first started coaching, that was really, really important to me, was to build a community of other people. And so I honestly just started by sharing my journey. Now, I will tell you, when I started coaching, we didn't have like fancy trainings. We didn't have people saying like, you probably should do this or you probably shouldn't do this. I'm like an OG coach, and like, we just kind of did the things and like figured it out as we went. And as like, I never did a dream team training. I never did like, you know, I didn't have a lot of great resources. We all kind of just said, well, this is working for me. So then we kind of did that. And then, well, this isn't working anymore. So we kind of did that. But you know, my early on posts were like pictures of like my bag of Shakeology and like pictures of my DVDs, because we used DVDs back then. And, and I go back to those posts and I'm like, gosh, and I really struggled for that first year, building connections, because I was letting Beachbody consume my life. And I was, you know, I was no longer working. I actually was I went back to nursing school full time, right before I signed up as a coach. And all of my posts were like Beachbody and nursing school and my kids, and Beachbody and nursing school and my kids. And literally like Beachbody, Beachbody, Beachbody is like everything that I said. And I wasn't sharing what was on my heart. I wasn't creating creating any kind of interest, because I was just putting it all out there. I go back to those early messages and it was like 16 paragraphs of like word vomit. And I'm like, oh, like no wonder nobody ever responded to me, because they didn't even read my message because it was way too long. And obviously there are things that we do now that build better connections. And along the way, I've really learned that, you know, just being authentically you is the best way to go about being a coach, and sharing, you know, the ups and downs and good and bad and everything in between has really built a lot of strong connections for me. But first, before we really dive into that, as a coach, our job is to help other people change their life. We serve other people, and serving others can be in so many different ways, but ultimately it comes down to like just being there for someone, being a source of inspiration for someone, walking someone through what a transformation can look like, and knowing that it doesn't have to be a physical transformation, that you know, a mental transformation, that a change of scenery for them, you know, that doing some things different in their day-to-day life can really help them achieve their goals and dreams. And think of yourself as an inspiration to other people, because you are, because I have so many people that have told me, and I'm sure you guys probably have too, oh my gosh, I wish I could do that, or I wish I had the courage to say this or do this, or, you know, be on social media and share, you know, and yeah, sometimes it can seem a little redundant that like, oh, I'm posting on social media again today. But know that sometimes there are people that are watching that don't like your post or don't comment on your post, but they need to see that you're showing up, because you are that shining light for them. You are that source of inspiration. So as far as building connections go, one thing that I kind of learned early on, and what I did for that first year of my business, was I was trying to appeal to everyone. Who wants to join me? Anybody can join my next group. And like 150 spots are open, free for all, you know, like a big circus kind of thing. And I didn't set a target market. I just wanted anybody and everyone to join me. And I was just gonna, you know, throw a challenge pack at them and just say, here's my group, let's do this. But I've learned that if you're trying to talk to everyone, you actually end up talking to no one, because your posts just kind of get, you know, and your message just kind of gets jumbled. So one thing that I did a couple years ago during a training was they had us create an avatar. And I think this is really, really important. And for me, I had to like sit down with a pen and paper and write like things that define who I am and like make me me, and how I can relate to other people. And when I did that, I started sharing like I was like, gosh, I really struggle with anxiety. I really have all these challenges and I started sharing about anxiety, and I started talking about like the chest pain and like the panic attacks and like stuff that like I really didn't initially feel comfortable sharing, but oh my gosh, the connections that I made through posts that I talked about some of those really, really hard things, some of the postpartum depression struggles, some of the like, oh my gosh, my husband's on another freaking work trip this week and I'm going to lose my mind. Like just some of the things that like, it may not seem like a big deal to you, or it may just seem like day-to-day life, but somebody is having a really hard time coping with something and they need to know that they're not alone. Some things that I have on here, loves Jesus, but cusses a little. Like I'm a Christian woman, but Lord, I cuss like a sailor, and I'm really going to try to keep it clean tonight for you guys. And I'll tell you, that's how my team is. Like we pray for each other, we show up for each other, we drink together on our calls, and like we swear, and we have to say like, FYI, your kids probably should go in the other room, because that's who I've attracted. And those are my people. Spends way too much money on graphic tees, coffee mugs, workout clothes, and anything for her kids. I have more people tag me in posts about Target than I care to mention. I have more people tag me in posts about tacos than I care to mention, because like tacos are my jam, and like people know that, and like people send me memes and stuff all the time about tacos. So like I have found my market, I found my people, and it came back to creating that avatar. Who am I talking to? And now I talk to those people. I talk to that mom who's struggling with, postpartum anxiety. I talk to that mom who is struggling with like just loving the hell out of her kids, but also like wanting to lock them in a closet for a couple hours and like do a shot of tequila. I share all these things with my audience, and I speak to those people because that's who I relate to, and that's who I build better connections with. So I challenge you guys, within the next week or so, to do this, to create an avatar. And like I did mine digitally, I found an image. And I made this, and I go back to it every now and then. And I'm like, okay, because when I start to feel like I'm being redundant, or I start to feel like I'm not getting my message across, I go back to the drawing board, and I'm like, okay, who am I really trying to talk to? Like who, and I write that out in my, in your business activity tracker every week. It says that at the top, like who is my market? And I write that in there every week. Who do I want to talk to this week? And for me right now, it's like women who really want to just enjoy cocktails and Thanksgiving dinner and not feel the stress of like having to be on a diet. And like, that's who I'm trying to appeal to. So creating an avatar is something really, really wonderful that you can do for yourself and for your audience, because then it feels like you're connecting so much more with everyone else. Building trust. So I really, with connecting, a lot of it comes down to trusting, having your audience is trusting you. They're seeing your vulnerabilities. They're seeing your insecurities. They're relating to you on some deeper level, than just seeing a transformation picture that says, oh my gosh, I just rocked the hell out of 21 Day Fix. Look at my results. Great. Anybody can post that picture. But when you talk about what got you to that point? Why did you sign up for this in the first place? You were, just stressed out, not having time to go to the gym 2 hours a day, needing something that you could call your own, whatever it is, frustrated with, your pants not fitting anymore, whatever those things were that got you to that point. That's what I share. That's what I share in my conversations with people when I have someone, like this transformation post. And I put this on here for a reason. I'll get to that in a second. But that's the conversation that I have when I go back to that message and I reference this post and I say, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the love on my post. It means the world to me. I look at that picture and it just takes my breath away, because I struggled with self-image for so many years. And it wasn't until I found this community that I really found myself. And I cannot tell you how amazing it's been to have found myself again. And I turn that into a conversation. Same thing with like this post, and I posted the taco one for a reason, because these are like my people. Like my people, I post about tacos, and I did like a little rap. I love to write, and I did a little rap to like the Lizzo song talking all about tacos and stuff. And like, I had a ton of responses, and I had people messaging me for like days after that, like, oh my gosh, your post, you know, and like, it was just a completely unrelatable way to like unrelatable way to relate to people, what I'm trying to say. But sometimes, you know, taking ourselves out of that comfort zone or sharing something that we don't normally share that completely relates to who we are and our personality really allows us to connect with somebody else. So this post on the bottom I wanted to share because this was last Transformation Tuesday. And I went to Target, surprise, surprise. And I was like, you know, just going in, got my coffee in my hand, like get in my cart. And I looked up and there was a lady standing there, and she like locked eyes with me and she smiled, and I like smiled and waved, and I started to turn, and she started to come toward me, and she was like, hey, are you on Facebook? And I was like, it depends, why? And she's like, well, I follow you, and I just saw your transformation post, like about how you were like really skinny. And she's like, I just wanted to tell you how completely inspiring you are. I see your post every day. And honestly, guys, I didn't know this woman. Like she doesn't like my posts. She doesn't comment on my posts. And she was like, she's like, I'm sure you get this all the time. And I'm like, no, I don't. Like, I feel like a freaking Kardashian right now. Like, who am I? And she was like, I just wanted to tell you how completely inspiring you are. Like, I love seeing your stuff. And I was like, I mean, I'm at Target. I'm already in my happy place. But like, this is why I'm here. And you know, it brings me back to like, I'm not trying to just post a transformation post. Like, I need to share the stuff that's going to connect me with somebody and have an experience like that. And like, I'm nobody, you know, and like, I came home and I was crying to my husband because I'm like, who am I? Like, I'm just a woman who is just showing up for herself. But like, to that woman, so much more. And it was just a really eye-opening moment, even though it just happened. And I've been a coach for 5 years. Like, it's something that like, you don't really realize the impact that you have until somebody else tells you that, you know? And like, here I am just showing up, just being myself. But that, you know, and I sat on this post for 3 weeks, and I wrote a text and I deleted it. And I wrote a text and I deleted it. And I finally was like, I'm not speaking from my heart. Like, I need to like speak from my heart. And, and it had an amazing impact. But we share, you know, we build that trust through being vulnerable. We build that trust through being authentic, through, you know, being your quirky, weird, awkward self, through sometimes digging a little deeper, through speaking from your heart, and just being completely unapologetically you. So another thing that I like to do to build connections and relate a little bit more with my audience is I ask them what they want. I mean, I just simply ask, like, what do you need? What is your struggle? What can I help you with? And I did this post in September, which I already had my October group planned out, but it still gives my audience a chance to speak up. Because it may not be, you know, it may be somebody that's been following me and they're just waiting for 50 other people to comment, so then they don't feel like they're the only one. Or, you know, it just gives them the chance to, oh my gosh, this is me. So I do these little posts every now and then, and I'm probably going to do another one here in the next week with like the rainbow colored hearts, you know, asking like, how are you on track or on par for your goals this year? Like, red heart, rocking it. Orange heart, like, I could stand to lose another 5 pounds. Yellow heart, you know, my nutrition is terrible and I eat everything in sight. You know, little things like that like are relatable, because, you know, like this right here, I need a do-over, like all of the above, you know, rocking the heck out of this year, like that's all relatable stuff. And just kind of checking in periodically with your audience. And sometimes I'll do a post that will say like, what do you need more from? And I'll ask my challengers this too. what can I do to serve you? What do you need more of from me? How can I better this experience for you? But, you know, looking and even taking time to look back through, maybe you look back through your posts. I always look at my memories every day, and looking back through your posts, and seeing where you were, and then looking back at your post from a month ago and 3 months ago, 6 months ago, and seeing, you know, taking a little bit of time to kind of scroll through and see what your audience likes. And it's not always about the likes and the comments, but like sometimes you'll see a trend and you'll see a pattern, like, oh, well, people really love when I post pictures of my dogs, or people really love when I post like pictures with me and my husband working out, or people really love when I talk about tacos and stuff like that. Like those are things that I want to do more of so I can engage my audience. And then I think about this, what would my perfect challenger, I put challenge group, but perfect challenger look like in my group? Like what would be the ideal person that I want to work with? What are they struggling with? What can I help them with? And then same thing, I'm talking a lot about challengers, but same thing about coaching too. Like what would my perfect tribe look like? Like who can I really relate to? I'm looking for a woman who, you know, X, Y, and Z. And like I said initially, it was, I'm looking for anybody at all who will sign up with me. And then I had to be like, okay, I need to like be a little bit more specific of who I'm really looking for here. So just another little idea for you guys to do to kind of engage your audience. And this may not get you 150 comments. You may get one. But it takes time to build that trust, and it takes time to build those relationships, and it takes time for people to see like, oh, you really do care. Like you genuinely care. You're not trying to just sell a challenge pack. Like you really do care about how you can help me. I'm going to go into my next slide. Building trust through a free group or a free challenge. And that's something that I try to do close to every month. I can't say that I do it every month, but the months that I do, I feel like my engagement is so much higher. And I took a little time off this summer. But in the month of August, I turned 36 in August. And I put out there at the beginning of the month that I had a goal to help however many people who had any pounds to lose. I wanted to have 36 pounds gone by my 36th birthday. So my birthday was on the 19th. I put it out there at the beginning of the month. And I said, this is a free group. Like there's no commitment required. And this may be something that works for you too. If you have a birthday coming up, you might want to try it. But I had so many people respond. I was like, I'm going to give you a week of workouts. I'm going to give you a week of meal plans. Like, all you have to do is like show up and work out. And if you want to lose 1 pound, great. If you want to lose 10, great. Like we're going to do this. And I gave them, you know, if they signed up on that first day of the month, I said, all right, we've got until the 19th. Or if they sign up on the 15th, then you've got 4 days. But I had one girl lose, I want to say in that week, I think she lost like 7 pounds and her husband lost 12 in like one clean week. And it was amazing. And she was like completely rejuvenated. And I had a bunch of people that lost, you know, 1 to 5 pounds, and we hit the goal, which was really amazing. But it was all clean week. I signed them up with a free week of clean week. I gave them the clean week meal plan. And I just plugged them into a group. And I let them try it out. And she was like, this is exactly what I needed. Because she was like, I need somebody. When I started talking to her, she's like, well, I really just need you to send me some workouts that I can do at the gym. And I was like, oh, no, we don't do that here. Like, this is what I'm going to send you. You can do these at home. I love going to the gym too, but like, I'm not going to try to make it any more difficult. I'm not trying to do double the work. Like, I'm just going to give you these workouts. If you want to take them to the gym, do them at the gym, go right ahead. Anyway, she lost 7 pounds. Her husband lost 12. She was like, this is exactly the jump start that I needed. Sign up with a challenge pack right away. It was all in Shakeology. And she's been one of my most consistent people ever since. And that was in August. And she texts me her weight every morning. She's on the scale. She texts me her meal plans. She is down 17 pounds since August, and she had a goal to hit 140 pounds by her 40th birthday, and she's at 150 pounds right now, and her birthday is like next July. And I'm like, oh, girlfriend, you're going to get there. So she's like way ahead of her goal, just because she happened to see this post, and she wasn't anybody that I had talked to before, but giving back, paying it forward. sometimes that creates your best challengers. Sometimes that like lights a spark underneath someone, and they're just all in, they're all ready to go. So I do have a Google Doc like sample week that I can share with Amy to share with you guys, that like whenever I start a challenge group or I do a clean week, I just copy and paste those posts in there for the whole week. And I give them a sample meal plan and really just try to keep it simple. I have them set some goals for the week. And then I have them do like kind of a like a baseline for like weight measurements and stuff like that. Let them try out being a challenger. So maybe they do want to try Beachbody on Demand. I am 100% for signing them up with a challenge pack, with Ultimate Portion Fix, with BOD. That is my first, like, that's the first line of defense right there. Like, this is how I signed up. This is what works for me. This is what works for my challengers. But if they're I really don't want to, can't spend the money, whatever it is, I work with them. I don't dismiss them. I give them the opportunity to try a challenge group, and I put them in my challenge group. And I let them see the engagement, and I let them see the other people that are in there, and I let them see what having a supportive community looks like. And then I kick them out. And I don't do it in a mean way, but I tell them like, well, this is, these are the people that have invested, and I would love to have you stay in here with us. These are what your options are. But I let them try it out first. I read something the other day that said, if you are an active coach and you have 2,000 people on quarterly BOD, so they're paying $39 a quarter, you will earn $124,000 a year. So if you're an active coach, just an active coach, and you have 2,000 people on quarterly BOD, you will earn $124,000 a year, which just like blows my mind, because it's like, oh, well, all these people that are saying no to these challenge packs, we should absolutely be signing them up with quarterly BOD at the very least. Like if they're like a hard no for spending $160, $180, whatever it is, well, I know you can probably spend 40, and I'm not trying to make people buy something all the time. But if they're really interested, and maybe they just need to do 21-day fix and like hear Isabel talk about Shakeology a few times after those workouts, or like see some other people posting their Shakeology recipes in the group, or realize how important it is to have the nutrition side of things too, then maybe in 60 days, they're like, okay, I'm all in. Or maybe they're that person that's like, I lost 25 pounds. I'm going to start sharing this on social media. Now I'm your number one coach. And it turns into something that can be so much more. So I never discount anybody who gives me a price objection, because there is always something for everyone. And if at the very least they're like, you know what? No, I'm not. I'm like, cool. Well, I'll send you a week of these clean week workouts. You can have access to them for life. Whenever you feel like doing more, I'm here to support you. Oh, by the way, here's a meal plan too. Let me know if this works for you. And yes, I send Shakeology recipes in my meal plan. So then they have to like look that up and be like, what is Shakeology? Like, I need you to tell me more about this. And I'll send them a really good Shakeology recipe too. Another thing is just to let them try out being a coach too. So maybe they're a challenger, or maybe they're somebody who was interested in your coach sneak peek. Or maybe, they had more, they requested more info about coaching, whatever it is. I allow them to kind of do the coach thing. Like I plug them into my coach sneak peek group, and then I sign them up for 2 weeks of BOD. And I just tell them, listen, like just start doing your workouts and sharing them in your stories, and share them on your Facebook stories. Take some before pictures. See where you are in 2 weeks. See where you are in a week. Tell me how you feel. Hey, can I send you a few samples of Shakeology or Energize? Or have them purchase a sampler of Shakeology or Energize, and just kind of get familiar with things. So that way they can kind of see what being a coach is like. Get them plugged into your challenge group. Get them kind of going through the coach motions day to day. And then I send them things like, oh my gosh, I saw that you posted your sweaty selfie and you had like all these people comment on like how great you looked. Have you talked to them at all about what you're doing? Because that's how I do this. Like, this is what I do. This is how I message, yada, yada, yada. And kind of just get their mindset in like, this is what coaching is like. And it always helps to kind of send them a little bit of like income information too. Like, oh, well, if your friend joins you, you'll make $50. Or like, oh, if you sign up your sister, like you'll, because sometimes that is a really big like all in for people. I can make $50 if my sister joins, sure. And then next thing, building trust, just by pouring everything into them in those 2 weeks or in that free group or whatever it is. Oh, real quick to go back to this. I talked about Clean Week, but I didn't talk about for October. I always do a Croctober group. Every single year, I do the same group. I share all the same recipes. I have all new brand new people. And then this year, I did it with my team, and we had a lot of people who do like Instapots and air fryers. So we shared a bunch of like different recipes and stuff. And we had like 250 people in that group. And what we were doing is converting all of those recipes into a PDF and getting everyone's email. And then we're emailing the recipes. So that way we have everyone's email. So then we can be like, hey, you know, I had you in my Crockpot group. This is a group that I'm doing in November in case you're interested and you'd like more information. Here's a link with some more details. So little things like that have really helped build that trust, because you're giving something away to someone. They're not asking for anything. And you're just showing them like, hey, this is how I'm here to support you. But like I was saying, pouring everything into them, into that week or 2 weeks, sharing with them a meal plan, giving them freebies. Maybe they signed up for a 2-week trial of BOD. Send them a packet of Energize to try with their workouts. Or, you know, if you have extra stock of Shakeology, send them a packet of Shakeology or something, especially if they're curious about it. Shout them out in the group, you know, shout them out in your stories if they're comfortable with that. Share testimonials of other people on your team or friends of yours or other coaches, and just share with them that like what they're doing is making a difference, not only in their life, maybe in their family's life too, but just by showing up for themselves, making themselves a priority, how important that is. Freebies, if they're like checking out the coach thing, then I might send them a coach, like a national wake-up call or something that would probably benefit them as a brand new coach. Or I might share with them like a meal plan template if they're in my group. Like, this is a blank one, try this, you know, fill this out and let me know. And here's the link to the Beachbody blog. There are so many recipes on here that you're really going to love. I thought you might like this one the most. And just sending those little things. And then following up with value, giving them priority, assuming the sale, and I don't like to use the word sale, but we'll use it for the purpose of this call, and then welcoming them with open arms. So this is a message that I had sent to somebody who gave me a price objection in August, again in September. So I kind of let October slide, early October, and then just sent her a message this last weekend about my November group. And since you've been interested before, and then, you know, letting them have that priority. Like, I thought you might want one of my 5 spots. Or so then if they've had that interest, then they see that like priority. They see that like, oh, well, thanks for thinking of me first. And yes, so she had actually responded like, yes, please send me pricing information and stuff like that. But if not, she's somebody that I would have said, okay, cool. Well, I'll check back with you in December. And I will tell you guys what I do for my December challenge group is I do a holiday survival group. And then I do 12 days of giveaways. Just like the Ellen show, like I do these 12 days of giveaways where I just buy, like, you know, if I'm at TJ Maxx, I pick up an extra workout tank top, or I pick up some really cute stationery or a headband or, you know, a PD book. And then for all of my people who have purchased a challenge pack or are on HD something within the last 30 days or for that group, then they're eligible to like go in and be given something. And that's the only like requirement for them, is that they're either on like HD Shakeology or Recover or whatever, or they've purchased a challenge pack. But providing value, giving value back to them. And, you know, if they say no, then sometimes just sending like a recipe to them. Oh, hey, I was thinking of you this month. Also, FYI, this is my next group kicking off, but I wanted to share this recipe with you because I know you said you like whatever it is. And then when they do join you, welcome them with open arms, shout them out, congratulate them. And like our work starts when they sign up. That's not when our work is done. And then assuming the sale, real quick, I want to touch on that because your confidence shines through in your messages, believe it or not. Like just when you've heard like somebody say like, oh, you can tell if somebody's smiling when you talk to them on the phone because you can hear their smile in their voice. Like that's how it is with your messages. So like when you message them, like don't message with hesitation, message with confidence. Like I know you're going to sign up. Like, oh my gosh, girl, I'm so pumped. Like I'm really looking forward to having you in this group this month. I know you were interested in the past. Like this is what we're doing and this is what I think you're going to love. So assume that they're going to sign up. So just a couple things, rinse and repeat. So all of these things I try to do on, like I said, a monthly basis. My November, I haven't done my free group yet for November, but I'm likely going to do like a planks and thanks challenge where like 10 days of like different planks, or I'm going to do, my 30-day group is a healthy body, grateful heart. So I always do a 30-day gratitude challenge for the month, but that's like my actual challenge group. But I might do like a 5-day freebie kind of gratitude challenge, or where I share some gratitude stuff, or I'll do like a planks and thanks, or I'll do like a healthy Thanksgiving recipe group and just share like a bunch of different healthy Thanksgiving recipes. But I try to do that early on in the month, because then that gives me the rest of the month to convert those people over, sending them more value, letting them know about my upcoming group, and then converting them over to having them sign up. And also sometimes, you know, if you're giving them a week of workouts or a 2-week free trial, to get it done early in the month. So that way you're not like scrambling at the end of the month. And then I always think about this, you know, when I sit down to work my computer, who needs me on my A game today? Who is the person that needs to see what's on my heart before I write my post, before I share on social media? And sometimes like, I'm not trying to be Oprah and like send this big inspirational message. Like sometimes I just need to be like, oh my God, I'm in the closet with the tequila again because my kids are driving me nuts. But whatever it is, like I need to know that I'm connecting with people. And it's much easier to do that when you know who your audience is, and when you know how to engage your audience, and when you just be yourself, your genuine, authentic self. And I'm going to close with this. It's kind of blurry, but it was the only one I could find. Your gifts are not about you. Leadership is not about you. Your purpose is not about you. A life of significance is about serving those who need your gifts, your leadership, and your purpose. So I think about that's what we do as coaches. We serve other people, and we give our best to ourselves, and we give our best to everyone else too. So that's all I have.
Wow, that was so good. Like, holy crap. I loved every single bit of it. I think that was exactly what, I mean, I know that's personally like exactly what I was hoping you'd share. So many just, I mean, I think that avatar idea, I know we've talked about it, but seeing how you did it, oh my God, it makes so much sense. Like it's such a great visual too, to like go back to whenever you're feeling like kind of like lost as to like who you're talking to, or you feel like, you know, sometimes you get caught up in that comparison game and then you feel like you're trying to talk to other people's audience when it's not really you, you know, you veer off from yourself. I love that. Like I definitely will be doing that, and I'm going to challenge everybody to do that this week. But I think the really like important message that you said early on was honestly like this is something we learn and do and we fail at it, or we tweak it over and over and over and over again. This isn't something built overnight, you know, but it's like you gave all these like little steps, you know, things that like, you know, if you know who your avatar is, like already, like what a game changer that will be with how you speak and show up in your posts, you know, and like, obviously, like, you know, not to go scramble, like you said, like, you know, every month's not perfect. Every month doesn't go completely according to plan, but that's not the point. The point is that you're always like providing value in some way, shape, or form. And having that, I think we all were curious about the free group thing. And I forget about Clean Week. I won't lie. Like I forget about it. And is that like different than the 14-day free trial?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a completely separate, like it's before the pay window. So like they don't have to enter credit card information or anything like that. Like it literally just, and I think I have a document too that like walks them through signing up that I can send if you guys want to like copy paste it and like make your own.
Yeah.
But they just like, there's a link on, I think it's on BB Links, that is just Clean Week. So you can plug in your ID and then you can just send it to them and it will take them to that Clean Week page. Like it's like beachbodyondemand.com/Clean Week program. And then it attaches your coach ID. So then they sign up for Clean Week under you and it gives them a free account under you. And you'll see them pop up in your office if they've not signed up for anything before. But I still check with them. Like if I'm signing them up for Clean Week, I just make sure like you don't have a coach that you're working with, like you don't already have a Beachbody account. And if they do, I have them do a coach change form. If they don't have a coach, or I said that wrong. If they don't have a coach and nobody's helping them, then I have them do a coach change form. If they do, and this is kind of off topic, but if they do, like if they're like, oh, well, you know, I signed up under somebody, but they're no longer working the business, or no, they don't run challenge groups, then I just say, you know, I'm more than willing to help you, but I'm not going to like snatch you away from anybody else. So if, you know, you're comfortable with switching and you're not working with that coach anymore, then yes, I would be happy to help you. Because karma sucks and I never want to steal anybody from anybody else because I wouldn't want that to happen to me. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I would love that resource 100%. And the only other thing, I mean, obviously I like the idea of polling your audience. You know, this is something like you primarily work off of Facebook, right?
Yeah, I do a lot of polls in my Insta stories and stuff.
Right.
As well.
Right. So I know that's something that I have done. I don't do it enough. And you basically just reminded me like that's a really good thing to just do is like honestly just ask. And I think, you know, like whether you're verbally talking it out or you're just doing it in like a visual. But I think I have something I wanted to like sort of touch on and something I've been dabbling with is sort of playing back into Facebook a little bit because I think Facebook is really good for interaction things like that. Like doing posts like that where you're kind of like asking questions and you're like engaging with your audience a little bit more as opposed to like it's just different. It's different. They're two different platforms. So I think like, you know, for us like where I like started on Instagram, you know, and like I wasn't really like doing much on Facebook. I think this call just really has given me like a lot of ideas of like how to really start engaging more in my Facebook audience, and sort of how I can also then kind of parallel that over to like, because I kind of do some of this stuff on Instagram, but I feel like it plays out differently on Facebook sometimes, you know, and you run your free groups in a Facebook group, correct?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So that, but I guess technically if they did sign up with Clean Week, they would have a bot account so they could use my challenge tracker. Okay. That's helpful. Does anybody have any questions for Ashley? Don't be shy. You can unmute yourself.
I wanted to add real quick too. My team and I have been really working on engagement and like not just posting about Beachbody stuff. And one of my girls last week had posted something about like how she doesn't make her bed every day. And she was like, do you make your bed or not? And had like a ton of people that were like, oh my gosh, yes, or oh my gosh, no. And like, I mean, nothing to do with anything at all. Just a simple question, but like little things like that, you know, that like, you don't think about because you make your bed every day and then you like go to work or whatever, you know, like you don't think about that could be something that would, you know, create conversations with your audience, things that you do day to day, that, you know, that really can build that trust and create those connections.
Yeah. I totally, we don't do things like that enough, I think. Yeah. Like it's because you're right. People are like so afraid to respond to your poll about joining your boot camp. But if you put up a poll about like, do you love ice cream or pizza? Like you'd get like a million people. Oh my
Yeah.
God. And like I always like kills me when I see that. Like if I do a poll like that and I'm like, why do you answer this poll and you won't answer other polls? But I think you're right. It's just trust. And I think, you know, I don't know. And we see like I see other people do it that I know have really good have a really good like following and things like that. They talk a lot about non-related subjects. Like, you know, it's really truly just them and like talking about random shit. So, yeah. Anyway, I appreciated this call so much. I learned a ton. I feel like I'm taking a lot of like nuggets away and things I want to try and implement for November and just do more in daily practice. I think you just talked about a lot of really good things. And if you can send me the PowerPoint, I think it was really helpful. I think it had a lot of like good nuggets on it. And then that clean week thing, that would be great.
Yeah. You got it.
Yay. Thank you, Ashley.
Yeah.
I appreciate it so much.
Absolutely.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.